Oh, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Friday Night Live. It is officially May. Wendy, I'm wearing short sleeves.
Woo! Yay!
Does this mean spring is
Yay!
finally here?
Well, I hope so. I hope that snow's gone for a
Oh,
good, I don't know, 6, 8, 10 months. I don't know.
yes, I
Um,
agree.
the the birds were dancing when the rain was out there today, and now it just all dried up, and it's such a beautiful day. Um,
Absolutely.
oh, oh, I've got a technical glitch.
Yep.
I've got you. There we go. I got my technical glitch all figured out.
Awesome. I was wondering why I was hearing myself talking.
There was no
Cool.
mute. We are so
Uh,
glad to be here with you guys tonight, and let us know that you're here, where you're coming from, and yeah, just we want to have a conversation with you. So we are so excited. You may have seen earlier, yesterday it was that we posted that tonight is testimony night. And we love testimony nights. And anyone that's been around for a little while knows that testimony nights are one of our favorites. Not that teaching isn't, but we get reminded of that hope that we have in Jesus. And so, for those of you that
Absolutely.
have never experienced it, it's just a night where we're going to have someone that's going to tell a little bit about their story, and then they get to tell us how they've experienced change. And so we have that opportunity tonight. And I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Wendy, and I am a grateful believer in Jesus, and I struggle in the area of control and codependency.
Hello, Wendy. And I
Hello.
am Jen, and I am a grateful follower of Jesus as well. And I struggle in the areas of anger and self hatred. And it is so good to be with you guys tonight. And just, yeah, feel like, did anyone get outside today? Like I did, and it was amazing. Wendy, you said you heard the birds singing and dancing. It's just glorious. It's delightful that it actually feels a little springy out there. So yeah, we're so glad to have you guys. We're going to try and interact with you. I'm going to keep looking at my computer to see who's on, where you're coming from. So hopefully you're chatting with us and you're letting us know you're here. Wendy, I heard something today on, or yesterday, I guess, on a social media post, and it was they were asking, or he said, "How many of you are regs here?" And the guy's like, "What are you talking about, regs?" And he's like, "Our regulars. We have all these regulars that come." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I'm totally stealing that." So if you are a reg, welcome. We're so glad you're back. If you are new, welcome to you as well. Please let us know who you're here and where you're watching from if you feel comfortable doing that. We love to just have all kinds of conversations going on through our little chat stream here. Um, so so we are going to head into our first worship song for the night, and we're really excited to invite some of our friends from Lincoln, Lincoln Road Chapel. They meet on Thursday nights, and so they lead worship over there. And so Chris and Joy, we hope you're still watching us tonight, but we have another Chris here tonight, and it's Chris and his wife Amanda from Lincoln. So we will jump into worship and let's enjoy that.
Woohoo!
Hi, welcome to CR. I'm Chris.
I'm Amanda. We often lead worship on Thursday CR.
Well, tonight is all about going back to basics, and what better thing to do than to be reminded of who God is, who we are, and that He's a good God. You unravel me with a melody. You surround me with a song of deliverance from my enemies, till all my fears are gone. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. From my mother's womb, have chosen me. Love has called my name. I've been born again into your family. Your blood flows through my veins. And I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. You split the sea so I can walk right through it. My fears are drowned in perfect love. You rescued me so I could stand and sing. I am a child of God. You split the sea so I can walk right through it. My fears are drowned in perfect love. You rescued me so I could stand and sing. I am a child of God. I am a child of God. I am a child of God. 'Cause I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God.
Welcome back. We're
Welcome.
so grateful that you guys got to come in during worship. So we're trying something new here tonight, Wendy, and we had a little bit of a technical glitch tonight. So thank you to all of our CRKW people. We're sorry we didn't get streaming right away. We're also over on CR Canada tonight, which is really cool. We're streaming live on both of those Facebook pages. So we're still learning how to do this. So thanks for your grace, guys, but we're here.
Yeah.
We should be here everywhere. So yeah, we're going to just reintroduce ourselves since all of our local peeps missed that. So hi guys, I am Jen. I'm a grateful follower of Jesus and I struggle with anger and self-hatred.
Hello, Jen.
Good to be with
And
you.
I am
Hi, Wendy.
I am Wendy, and I am a grateful believer in Jesus, and I struggle in the area of codependency and control. And we are so glad to have you with us tonight.
We are.
And tonight is testimony night, and everyone that's been around for a while at CR knows that testimony nights are such a highlight for us. And we love teachings as well, but it's always good to have someone come in and just share their story and reminds us of that hope that we have in Jesus. And if you haven't experienced a testimony, then you will tonight. It's a treat just to see the change that happens in people's lives, and we get to be a part of that. So we are excited that you're going to be here tonight.
Very excited. Yeah. Awesome. So guys, we want to know where you are watching us from. I was just saying to Wendy before, so if you're watching this on playback, you're going to hear my same joke. But anyways, I was watching something else, a Facebook Live thing the other day, Wendy, and they were talking about their regs. And I was like, what are their regs? Because they called them like BSS. Anyways, it was the bedtime Bible stories with the skit guys. And I was like, and he said, the regulars, all of our regulars. And I'm like, yes, that's totally what we're going to steal. So if you're one of our regs, we just want to say welcome, wave, #reg, whatever you want to do. We're so glad that you're here. And if you are joining us on CR Canada from somewhere else in the world, We're just so thrilled that you found us and that you are watching this, and we hope that you enjoy tonight. So, yeah.
We're going to talk about Open Share, remembering if you want to be part of our online Open Share group tonight, let us know at cr@creeksidechurch.ca. If you're new as well, we'll have a CR 101 for you. So again, at that same email, just let us know that you're part of the 101 or just like a newcomer kind of group. So we are excited for that.
Absolutely.
What else, Jen?
Well, we're a little thrown off because we already went into worship. So, yeah, I'm trying to figure out what is next here. I think that we can
thank Chris and Amanda.
Yes.
It was good to have them with us tonight. So that is awesome. And I think we're going to go right into Rick's story, right?
Absolutely.
And so we have an awesome opportunity to have Rick with us tonight. He's taken some time out just to tell us what CR is to him. And Rick is a leader here at our Creekside CR, and he's also our training coach. So let's welcome Rick.
Yay, welcome Rick. Good to have you.
Hi friends, my name is Rick and I'm a believer in Jesus Christ. My struggles are alcoholism and sexual addiction. I was on a Zoom call the other day with Jen and Wendy talking about a few things, and one of the things that came up was this question: what is Celebrate Recovery? So they asked if I would come on and share for a few minutes what Celebrate Recovery is. Later that evening, I was sitting at the table with Debbie, and we were playing a board game, and so I'm telling her about the call and so on, and so I asked her, what is Celebrate Recovery? She looks at me, she says, I'm not going to do your work for you. Celebrate Recovery is working for her. Celebrate Recovery really, when you think about it, in a nutshell, is experiencing change. Experiencing change. Like I said, I introduced myself. I struggle with alcoholism and sexual addiction. There was a time in Rick's life where I wanted to experience change. I knew these things were causing issues in my life. My marriage was in trouble. My job was in trouble. I wanted to make changes, but I didn't know how to do it. I get into what we call recovery. My recovery began in Alcoholics Anonymous. I'm forever grateful for the men and women there that would share and experience and share their experience, strength, and hope with me. That allowed me the courage to go in and sit on a chair and to listen and to learn. And as I did that, God began to work in my life. And a few years later, I began to investigate Christianity. And Rick becomes a Christian. I became a Christian, and I was baptized in August of 2000. I was 40 years old at the time. And as a young Christian, I heard about this thing called Celebrate Recovery. Now, the word recovery jumped out at me. Of course, being in Alcoholics Anonymous, recovery, drugs, alcohol, this might be something, this is good. But the reality is the people that come out to Celebrate Recovery, less than a third come out because of drugs or alcohol. They come out for a whole host of other reasons. And I discovered in my journey, although alcoholism and sexual addiction are my primary issues, those were the outlets. They were the end result. Me running out, fulfilling my selfish desires, and that was the end result. There was all these underlying issues that needed to be dealt with so that I could experience change, which at the time I had no clue, right? I had no clue. And I'd worked through many of these things in my time in Alcoholics Anonymous with the 12 steps. But then Celebrate Recovery came along, and I'm a new Christian, and I'm kind of struggling in my Christian walk. I'm still trying to figure this thing out. Celebrate Recovery comes along. We hear about this thing, we start checking into this. Now here's these 12 steps that I was kind of used to, but it also brought in this element of Jesus as a higher power. Wait a minute, for me, this just brought these two worlds together, and I thought, I'm going to check this thing out. This is going to be good. And so one thing led to another, and here we are today, sharing about what is Celebrate Recovery. It lines up biblically with the 12. The 12 steps line up biblically. Also lines up with the famous sermon that Jesus gave called the Sermon on the Mount, which is known as the Beatitudes. In there he tells us 8 ways to be happy. And so out of that come our 8 principles. The principles of recovery: conviction, conversion, surrender, what's the other one? Confession, restitution, prayer, quiet time, and of course helping one another. Now those are good principles, but they're also the principles of recovery. How do I experience those things? How do I work those principles into my life? Celebrate recovery. Working through the 12 steps, applying these principles of recovery, we begin to not only experience these things, they become part of who we are. It's just part of what we continue to do. As we begin to experience these things, we not only experience change, we become changed. We become changed. Sometimes slowly, sometimes quickly. But these things materialize. This change happens to us. And all we have to do really, how does it begin? We just show up. We just show up. And there's people who have experienced change, like myself, like my wife, Jen, Wendy, and many, many others, who now, because of this, want to give back. Step 12 says that having had a spiritual experience as a result of these steps, we try to carry this message to others and to practice these principles in all of our affairs. Now, if we're serious about this thing, if I'm really grateful about what God has done in my life, I want to be able to give back. There was a time in my life I had no clue on how to do that. But here I am. I have ways. God is guiding me. He is showing me ways that I can share my experience, my strength and hope with others, the same way that it was done with me. In this time in COVID, with the isolation and everything, I think we're pretty creative in ways of doing that. And certainly the internet has changed all of that and really given us a platform to do those things with. There's a principle in Celebrate Recovery. It's principle number 7. And this is, we get to this point in our recovery, and it's a maintenance mode, right? How do I've experienced this change, how do I maintain the change? Principle 7 tells us how to do that, and it says to reserve a daily time with God for self-examination, Bible reading, and prayer. And then it tells us why. In order to know God and His will for my life, and to gain the power to follow His will. And as we practice that principle as best we can on a daily basis, we are going to experience on a daily basis everything that Celebrate Recovery has to offer. In combination, of course, with step 12 and finding ways to give back. And so in this time when we can't be together face to face, Zoom calls, the internet, phone calls, and texting and emails and all that sort of stuff can help us sort of stay connected until we can meet face to face. But when we can get back to face, I invite you to come on out and join us at Creekside Church on a Friday night. And if you want to get in touch in the meantime, and you want to get in touch with Jen or Wendy, you just email them, cor@creeksidechurch.ca, and they will be more than happy to help you. Thanks for listening.
Rick, thank you so much for taking the time to just share a little bit of your heart and how you learned about CR and what CR has meant to you. And it's really cool. I so appreciate the reminder of just coming back to the basics, right? Of what CR is, who it's for, and just how God uses this. And so, yeah, it was just really awesome to hear from Rick. We just want to say again, for those who with all of the kerfuffle that we had, we just want to acknowledge that Chris and Amanda they lead worship over at Lincoln Road Chapel. And so we are really excited to be able to invite them to join us tonight and have Lincoln representing. So shout out Lincoln Road. We love our friends over at Lincoln on Thursday nights. And so it was fun to bring them in this evening. So Wendy and I just want to have a short little conversation with you. A couple of questions just came up just after our conversation with Rick. So the three of us are on team together, and so we get to have lots of meetings, which is really fun. We have some really cool conversations. And when we heard Rick just sharing some of his thoughts, we're like, yes, like you need to capture that and share that, because he just has such great things to say, as I'm sure you guys can all attest to, and you as well, Wendy. So one of the questions that that really we've all kind of been just ruminating on a little bit in the last little while is, what change did you want when you entered recovery? And then what change did you actually receive? And so Wendy and I just want to share a little bit of our stories as well with you tonight. So Wendy, I'm gonna ask that question to you. What were some of the changes that you were hoping to and expecting to see when you came into recovery all those years ago?
Well, to be honest, Jen, I didn't think I really needed recovery. I thought I was in the posture of that if my husband went to recovery and he got fixed and he just worked his recovery, then everything would be just fine. And so that happened, and I was really grateful for that. But what happened also at the same time is about a year, just after a year in, I was like, but our marriage isn't fixed yet. And so then I had to reflect and go, well, there's things that I have to work on as well. And so what I wanted when I came in, I realized that I needed to do something different. So I wanted a change in my marriage. But again, I came in reluctantly, not knowing whether it was going to work or not. But my goal was to have something different. And I spent so much time in our marriage having this emotional roller coaster, just going and going and going. And there just seemed to be no stability within our marriage, within our kids, and all of these things. So I was looking for change in my marriage, in my relationships. And yeah, that's where I started at. And how about you, Jen? Like where would you say what sorts of changes were you wanting when you came into Celebrate Recovery?
Yeah, so I became really, I got to a point where I was just desperate to know Jen, just Jen, because I had spent so much of my life putting masks on and just trying to be the right version of me to whomever it was that I was interacting with, and that was exhausting after so many years. And I knew that I was trying to present this perfect front all the time, but yet I had these secret sins and these things that I just did not like about myself. I hated myself in a lot of ways. And so I wanted to just get to a point where I didn't need all these masks, but I didn't want to have to hide everything that was going on. And I knew I needed to deal with some of these secret sins. I had debt, and I'd had an abortion, and there was just a few things in my life that I knew I wanted to deal with. But I had no idea how to be authentic and vulnerable. And it was really scary coming in because, yeah, I had no idea what I was going to find when I started peeling some of those layers away. And that was really scary, really scary. And I'd also kind of hit a point where I'd walked away from God a little bit because it just got exhausting to try and bring in faith and this perfect deity that I was trying to strive for, to be the good Christian. And it just got so exhausting. And so I wanted some part of my faith back, but I really didn't know what to expect with that. I just knew I wanted something. Didn't really know what I would find at CR in that capacity. And Wendy, it's been so fascinating because Chris, your husband, and I, we actually have discovered over the years, I mean, we've been in recovery together for 11 plus years, and you and I think we're at 10 years together now. And Chris and I actually realized we did CR 101 together all those years ago. And so I really feel like I've been a part of yours and his journey for so long, because we were in our first step study. Your first step study was one that I was in as well. And so it's been such a privilege to watch you and Chris journey. And I remember, like, you go get fixed. Like, I've heard that so many times. And so as you guys have done this journey together for so many years, what are the changes? And I want to make sure that I'm getting the right question here. You kind of came in with these expectations, but what have you then actually experienced? Have you noticed a difference in that?
Oh, absolutely. I think when I came into recovery, I was just thinking like this immediate smallness almost. And most certainly we do have a stronger marriage than we ever had. And most certainly it, like many other areas, it's just this continuous work in progress that we're going to experience. And I talked about this emotional roller coaster, and liken it to the behemoth that when I before recovery was kind of like the behemoth at Wonderland, and I just felt like I was just being jostled around and almost flying out of my seat. And so now I can more liken my journey to like the ladybug ride. I don't know if you guys out there can relate to that or not. The hills aren't quite as deep or as steep, and it just seems so much more relaxing, or it's not so much relaxing sometimes, but it just doesn't seem as extreme as it used to be. So that is most certainly one thing. So I did get experience the change that I initially came in, but I tell you, there was so much more that I didn't even know that was possible for me, and I that I used to cope. I used control. So I've experienced some freedom in the area of control. I am so aware when I'm trying to be the Holy Spirit Junior now. I can catch myself on that, and realize that I'm not supposed to be playing God. And so the other one I know that is my experiencing. We've talked about this in weeks before. You've heard some about what weird things, but I used to only know rage or happiness, and that happiness was most certainly a mask, like Jen had talked about, and those were the two emotions. So I've most certainly grown in my awareness, and so that change has enabled me to be a lot more present in my relationships, and just growing in that capacity, because most certainly I was emotionally distant in a lot of my relationships, including my close relationships with my kids and my husband. So that is getting better. Again, still very much a work in progress. The other thing that I was a loner, didn't really want anything to do with community, and I most certainly have grown in my love of community, and I've experienced that change. I actually have relationships that are meaningful, and I can be, as Jen had said, I can be me, and they accept me and just let me be that. And so my relationships with my friends and even with my family continues to change. But the change I didn't expect, like I kind of thought those might be, I think in the back of my mind, those would be byproducts, so to speak, of it. But I never realized that the most significant change that I would experience would be my relationship with Jesus. I had known, like Jen had said, this God, and trying to just, I don't know what I was trying. We had walked away as well. We got married in the church, and then we had walked away and just kind of went out and did our own thing. But there was always this kind of draw, but feeling of not being enough. And so when I started to do recovery, realizing, like going through all the steps, realizing I'm powerless, and that I'm not God, and all of these things just continued to woo me into a relationship. And I know Jesus far better than I would have not I come into recovery. I think that's my journey for sure. And it's just been a game changer. And really, I can't even begin to imagine what my life would have been like if I hadn't stepped through those doors into recovery. It just has been just an incredible experience for me. Not that it's been super easy. I don't want to paint that picture of ease. There's certainly been lots of hard and wrestling and failing and getting back up and all of those things. But it has been an incredible vehicle to just promote that change. And so that's me in a nutshell, Jen.
Awesome.
And I'm excited that I get to continue to experience this change that we talk about. So Jen, what kinds of changes have you experienced as you've come into recovery?
Yeah. And Wendy, let me just say, it has been such a joy to do this journey with you and see the changes, and just even be part of those relationships that have grown and changed. It's a really cool honor to get to do this with you. So I think my biggest takeaway is, like you said as well, Wendy, that my faith. I'm a pastor's kid, so I have grown up every day of my life, I've known Jesus. And I accepted him. I asked him into my life when I was just a little girl. And so he's been a very important pillar in my life. But it wasn't until coming into recovery that something shifted. And it's like, oh, this is Jesus. And this is the Jesus that I want to be in love with, and that I want to serve, and that I want to surrender my life to. This Jesus who's all about love and grace and forgiveness, as opposed to punishing and coming down on me, and being disappointed in with me, and all of those things in my head that I've told myself, but are not truth. And so as I've just gotten to know Jesus better, it has been the most incredible thing. And in all honesty, that's been what's helped me take my masks off, because I know that he's there to heal those wounds. And he is there. He created me without those masks. And so he wants to see what's underneath them. And he wants that to shine through. And it's just been absolutely incredible. And again, Wendy, we touch on the same things, because this is what it is, right? It's all about experiencing change. And I had no idea what true, authentic relationship was prior to. I thought I knew, and I did have some great friends throughout my life, but those relationships in recovery have just been life-changing. I haven't felt the need to compete with women in the same capacity. I can just let them see who I really am. And what I think the most intense moment was when I shared some of my deepest, darkest secrets with somebody, and she just wept with me. And in fact, she loved me more after. She didn't hate me. She didn't disapprove. She did not like me. She actually liked me more when she knew me better. And that has just been such a profound thing. As I understand those relationships, I've been able to understand Jesus as well. So I'm so thankful for the changes that I've seen, and the unexpected change that I've been able to experience, that I wasn't even prepared for. And all of the stuff that I've been healed from, man, that's just gravy, right? Being debt free, and just understanding codependency and all of these things that I didn't even know were issues when I came into recovery. Let's be real. To not even have to think hard about those anymore has been absolutely incredible. So we came in with expectations. We've experienced changes that we weren't even prepared for. And so we kind of wanted to touch on, and obviously there's this, there can always be this disconnect, right, Wendy, between our expectations and what we actually experience. And so how would you describe that? Would you say, I think we've both alluded to it in a lot of ways, but but there can be this idea of like, oh, is it going to be a good thing or a bad thing to have a disconnect in my experience versus my expectations? So do you want to just share a little bit about that?
I think you said, you're right. We did kind of allude to it as we were talking, but for me, it's been a really good thing. I have to be honest that throughout my journey, I didn't necessarily think it was going to be a good thing, because it was pretty hard and there was some wrestling, and the desire to go back to old coping just was there. So there's days probably that I didn't think it was a good thing, but most certainly it has been a good thing. Not easy, but most certainly good. And what I love is that CR is like the vehicle that's going to point me at Jesus. It's just going to keep me. It just gives me I'm a framework kind of person. So it kind of just gives me this framework to work within. But it always points me back to Jesus. And because dealing with self-sufficiency, I would think that it had a lot to do with me and what I could do. And just more and more as I journey on, I'm just reminded, go back to the steps and the principles, and use this vehicle that's been given to you to point you at Jesus, and just continue to go forward, make the changes. And I think it reaps the reward. Not to say I didn't just show up. There was effort that I had to put in. And so I think that answered your question, Jen. There's so much that we could just have a conversation about, for sure, because we're pretty fired up about CR. But what would be your thoughts on that, Jen?
Yeah, so I have been absolutely blown away with recovery, because I had no idea. Um, as much as I came in with expectations, I really, for probably one of the first times in my life, came in without a whole lot of expectations in some ways, and I've just been so pleasantly surprised. And Rick just said it so well, right? Like CR is a tool. You've said it too. It's a vehicle, and it's like there's people who came before me, and I remember sitting in group and open share early on, and I would listen to people share, and I'm like, I want to be like them when I grow up in
Mm,
recovery. I want my answers to be like that. And CR really is this tool that we get to use, and there's all these amazing guides that are here to guide us on this journey. And really, the journey is to be closer to Jesus, like you said. And we are just so excited as sometimes it feels good, Wendy, to just come back to the basics, right? And to be able to say, sorry, I've got all
yeah.
this stuff in my hands, but to come back to the basics and to just be able to say, like, why do we do CR? Like, what is the purpose of CR? Why did I start coming to CR? Why do I keep coming back to CR every single week? And so we would love, unfortunately, our comments are not working this evening, but please do comment and just spur each other on and encourage each other. Think back to, like, why did I first come? Or maybe you're here for the first time tonight and you're like, I'm just here because I stumbled upon it, right? Whatever your reason is, we all have something. And we're going to get into that as well in open share. If you would like to join us for open share, send us an email real quick. I will put that on the screen. And then it'll give you an opportunity to be able to just talk and share a little bit more about why why you are coming to CR. And I don't even know if I finished answering the question, Wendy. um, so
we
I,
just
I want
want
to
we
go
just
ahead.
want people to know that there is benefit to the hard work
Absolutely.
that um, that it takes to just travel through this journey. So you did. You
Absolutely.
answered the question.
Perfect. Yeah, I just saw one more note. I'm going to add one more thing here.
Okay.
Um, and I'm so grateful for these relationships because the people that have gone before me, the people that have been guiding me and mentoring me, my accountability team, my sponsor, all of those relationships, they spur me on and they call me to a higher standard. They challenge me in ways that I've never been challenged before. They point me to Jesus when I potentially want to run the other direction sometimes. And it has just been one of the most humbling and yet incredibly rewarding experiences that I've ever had. And so, yeah, I'm so truly grateful for what Celebrate Recovery is and what it's been in my life. So um, that was just the last of my answer. I wanted to say that because it was good. So I think we're going to go to worship now. Is that where we're at, Wendy? Yes.
I
Okay.
think
All right. So um, let's go to worship and then we're going to come on back and we'll do our focus question and some wrap up. And yeah, so enjoy this next worship song with Chris and Amanda.
yay.
Who am I that the highest King will welcome me? I was lost, but He brought me in. Oh, His love for me. Oh, His love for me.
The sun sets free, always free indeed. I'm a child of God, yes I am. Free at last, He has ransomed me, His grace runs deep. While I was a slave to sin, Jesus died for me. Yes, He died for me. Oh, forsaken. I am who you say I am. You are for me, not against me. I am who you say I am. Oh, I am who you say I am. Who the sun sets free, always free indeed. I'm a child of God, yes I am. In my Father's house, there's a place for me. I'm a child of God, yes I am. In my Father's house, there's a place for me. I'm a child of God, yes I am.
Thank you so much, Chris and Amanda. What a joy to have you guys here tonight. Wow, I still got Chris and Joy in because we love having them as well. Sorry, sometimes I make myself laugh, Wendy.
I love
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Love it.
So, as we have talked about tonight, this whole idea of experiencing change. And so maybe you're sitting there saying, well, I want to experience change. So what do I do next? What does this look like? How does this happen? Especially even in a COVID season. But Rick really simply told us, well, you just have to show up. And so the fact that you're here tonight says a lot, right? You're here, you've shown up. We're not at a building, we're online, but that is a huge step to just show up and tune in and watch. So we want to applaud you for that. Wendy,
Yes.
what are your
So
thoughts on that?
you're gonna show up, right? So then, like us or follow us. I don't know what the lingo is. I'm not the lingo girl, but whatever
Both work,
that is on us on Facebook. What is it?
Both work. You
Is
can
it
like
like?
or follow. Yeah, yeah,
Oh, well, there you go. Okay, so
yeah.
do both. Do both, so that you'll know what's going on and you just get some updates and some encouragement. So do that. Keep
Mhm.
coming back to Friday Night Live, chatting in the comments and creating that community. And you get to see your peeps on there if you're from, or make some new
Regs.
acquaintances. Regs, there you go. So then send us an email if you're new, as we said. And you can join something called CR 101, which is a newcomers group. And we'll just walk through what CR is and what to expect when you go into Open Share. You can join an Open Share group. You can connect with a leader. If you email cr@creeksidechurch.ca, then you can let us know that you'd like to get connected. And the other way is you can, like Rick said, walking out the 12th step, you can share and invite others. And so this is an opportunity right now where it's easy to invite people. It's not so much saying come through the door. It's just like, hey, go online and join us there. So it's quite an easy invite. So
Absolutely.
like us on Facebook, join us at Friday Night Live, connect if you haven't already, do CR 101, Open Share group. You can connect with a leader and share and invite others to come Friday Night Live. There we go.
Brilliant. Good list, Wendy.
I know,
Those
right?
are awesome. Yeah. So, guys, we know that you have been commenting, and we so wish Wendy and I will go back and we're going to read through some of your comments after Open Share tonight. Yeah, we're just learning some new things here, so we apologize that we haven't been able to do any specific shout outs, but if you are celebrating something tonight, celebrate with each other, just spur each other on, encourage each other. It's always so fun, Wendy. I don't know about you, but I love going back and reading the comments afterwards because I don't always get to see them as as they're coming in here. But just to see people encouraging each other and cheering each other on, and the laughter and the humor that's happening, it's such a cool thing to see community happening in this capacity.
Yes,
So,
sure.
where are we at now?
We're at prayer
Yes.
requests. So again, if you have any prayer requests, celebrations, if you want to send us those celebrations, we'll celebrate with you. We'll give you a shout out here on Friday Night Live. Jen can toot the horn over there.
I sure can.
And
I'll do it, yeah.
also, we want to let you know about Summit. We're not going to spend a lot of time, but if you ever want to just know more about CR and the roots of CR and have a good training event, this year CR Summit is going to be online. So there is some information on the Canada site right now, but on Monday there'll be some on our own CR page as well. But that's in July. So get excited about that, and we will continue to bring you more information about it.
Absolutely. I am so hoping, Wendy, that we can maybe be in small groups by then.
I know, I
since
was
it's the
thinking
end
the
of
same
July.
thing.
And we can I was saying to somebody maybe we can all go over to Wendy's and have a barbecue and watch it outside. I was just going to invite
Right.
myself over to your house, but yeah,
Love it.
who knows
Love
what it'll
it.
be at that season, but
Yeah.
we look forward to being able to do Summit. And the cool thing about it is the cost is brilliant this year. So we're
Exactly.
hoping to be able to invite so many more people than we would ever be able to get down to California, to Saddleback, or to Tennessee. So this is an amazing opportunity. If you guys have ever been curious about just CR on a bigger scale, or leading or starting anew, depending on where you're watching from and who you are, there's so much great content that they're going to cover. So we would love to have you join us for that. And we just want to say as well, thank you, Rick, for taking the time out to just put your thoughts together for us and just really explain. Rick just does an amazing job at simplifying what CR is and why it's such an amazing tool, and just being able to share how it has helped him in his life. So thank you, Rick, for sharing. Hopefully you're watching and you can, I don't know, give Rick a shout out in all the comments. Guys, it's so weird. I feel
cool.
so alone tonight without being able to see all your comments. So with this, we're going to wrap up for this evening. We're going to head to our open share groups in a few minutes. They'll open up shortly. So if you haven't already, get the Zoom link and make sure that you guys join us for that. And we are going to finish off with the Serenity Prayer. And some of you totally got who it was last week, and hopefully you'll recognize the voice tonight because, well, maybe you've already heard this voice recently. So with that, Wendy.
You can't give it away.
I'm sorry. Surprise, you'll have no
Well,
idea.
I just had this thought though,
Yes.
when you said in the backyard, I'm thinking, maybe I can be on the back porch one night and do Friday Night Live.
That would be amazing.
Anyway.
Oh, I'd be so jealous. I know I'm not supposed to be, but
Wow.
oh. Well, and you know, Wendy, maybe one of these days you and I will actually be able to sit in the same room and do this
I know.
together. Can you even? I've said to Wendy all week, we're just totally going off on a tangent here for a sec, but I miss three-dimensional people. Wendy, I love seeing your face every day on Zoom, but I'm so sick of seeing my chins. And I want to see a three-dimensional you again because I miss it so much. So, and we miss all of you in 3D, and we can't wait to be together again with you guys. But we're so thankful that we have this platform every single week. So hopefully we'll see a whole bunch of you. Well, I'll just see the girls, but hopefully we'll see you guys in Open Share. And with that, have a lovely week. Enjoy this beautiful weather this weekend. And we'll see you next Friday. Yes. Take care, guys.
Thanks for joining us. Here's the Serenity Prayer.
Oh, Wendy, we forgot the focus question. Oh, my goodness. You'd think we'd never done this before. So here's the focus question for tonight, guys. Oh, wow. Sometimes you just have to not do things quite as well so that you can appreciate when you do them really well. So we'll just put this in there. So what change or changes do you want to experience in your own life? So this is the focus question that we will be answering in Open Share in just a few minutes. So with that, we will now go to the Serenity Prayer. I think we're officially going to say goodnight now, Wendy. All right. We will see you guys next week.
See you next week.
God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time, accepting hardship as a pathway to peace, taking, as Jesus did, this sinful world as it is, not as I would have it, trusting that you'll make all things right if I surrender to your will, so that I may be reasonably happy in this life and supremely happy with you forever in the next. Amen.